Hello, and welcome to Postcards from Palisade, the podcast that shares a snapshot of the people and places that make this slice of Western Colorado wonderful. I'm your host, Lisa McNamara. Today I'm talking with Lisa Moose Kral of Dancing in My Head Photography. Lisa has been one of the photographers for Colorado Mountain Wine Fest for many years, and she'll be returning as the Palisade Bluegrass and Roots Festival photographer this June. She's also looking forward to returning as a photographer for the Palisade Peach Festival and lots of other local events. Lisa may be best known for her ability to effortlessly capture Facebook profile-worthy photos of people, along with her ardent love of the color purple. Lisa shares her path from desk job as an office manager to full-time photographer, the challenges of running her own creative business, how she and her husband Matt ended up in Palisade, her wildest celebrity and neighborhood encounters, and lots more. Like her favorite kind of photo to take.
I like when I can make someone feel beautiful. My favorite photo is capturing someone's happiness and joy. I think that's the most rewarding thing for me, is just to capture that moment that someone else sees in a picture and they're in that moment.
How she deals with uncredited photo sharing.
Just for the record, photo credit doesn't pay the bills.
And what she loves about Palisade. From the heartwarming things.
After living in big cities, for most of my adult life, we had our certain friends and small, but you move to Palisade and you feel like you're friends with everybody. And I love it.
To the kinds of wild adventures you might not see coming.
That's another thing I love about Palisade. I get to tell stories like that, Mom, I wrangled pigs today,
All that and more on today's Postcard from Palisade. Do we really want pickle song, or?
Matt, do you want to sing the pickle song? Just sing it real quick. Yeah, sing the pickle song.
Everybody's pickle.
That's my introduction, folks.
Sweet.
Welcome to the podcast about dancing in my head photography.
When you introduce yourself to somebody who doesn't know you, how do you introduce yourself?
I don't pull out the moose thing right away. I just say Lisa Kral.
Would you rather ask people to call you Moose, or?
No, I feel like people choose what they want to call me. My mom refuses to call me Moose. There's another woman in town who shall remain nameless. She does not accept Moose as my nickname. That's totally fine. People who have known me a long time, don't often call me Moose, but they see it, and new people in my life usually pick it up. The name of my business is Dancing in My Head Photography. I'm a photographer in Palisade, Colorado. That wasn't exactly the plan when we moved out here, but it kind of happened kind of organically. I feel lucky to be working with something that I love to do instead of, my office management job was great and I was really good at it, but it didn't bring me as much joy as photography does.
So how did you end up in Palisade?
So my husband and I met in 2003, and when we started dating, we started going on a lot of road trips in Chicago, and we went everywhere, but small town. And we finally got really sick of driving through Indiana. Sorry, Indiana, if you're listening.
But it's so fast.
And we took a trip to Breckenridge, and we just fell in love with it, and we kept thinking, new road trips, we should just move to Colorado. And his job came with him, so it was really easy to make the transition to Denver. Mm-hmm. And when we got to Denver, we started road tripping everywhere, and Palisade was one of those places we just kept coming back to. And we finally stayed at this B&B. It happened to be in Clifton, and it was for sale, and I fell in love with it. And we had just gotten married, and then we started thinking about a house, and I wanted this B&B in Clifton. And we met with a realtor, and he's like, "You do not want that B&B in Clifton." So he's like, "Let me just show you a few more things." And he showed us more than a few more things. And we saw this house. It was on the market for about a week. It was going to be in the Parade of Homes. And Matt and I were like, let's move to Palisade. And we kind of live our lives like that. We just, calculated risks, but So we ended up moving to Palisade, moving into one of our road trips, one of our vacations. And unfortunately, the only thing about Palisade is like we don't want a road trip as much because we live in one. We like living in our vacation. So it, Palisade kind of changed our lifestyle, but in a good way. And we're happy to be here. And we've been here for 7 years now. It was hard. I mean, our next door neighbor, who is no longer a neighbor, but she told me it would take me at least a few years to adjust, and it did. When we got here, I wanted to have the same exact job as I did in Denver. It was a great job. I was an office manager for a wealth management company, doing really well, treated very well, but I came here and it wasn't a necessary position that people were looking for. Mm-hmm. If anything, I did too much, and people were like, you're going to get bored, Mm-hmm. So it did take me a few years to come into really accepting the photography thing as like what I was going to really do. And now we're happy, but those first few years were definitely a transition.
Was it always a hobby for you and nothing you thought of as a profession?
Even as a kid, like I just documented everything I did. And I remember my first like big trip without my family was to Israel. And everybody I went with brought like 1 or 2 rolls of film. I was like, I need like 20 rolls of film. Like we're going to be gone for weeks and I need to take pictures of everything. And so from then, and then my parents gave me a digital camera. Photos everywhere, everything, close-ups, landscapes, just everything. And then I got into social media and started posting my photos, and people are like, you need to sell these. And so I started thinking like more and more about, just having this as a hobby, but then I wanted to brand it. And I was a dancer in college, a ballet and modern dancer. So, and I knew I wasn't going to be dancing forever, physically, but ideas are always dancing in my head. So that's where that came from. It was really like a no-brainer when I wanted to name my business. And then we moved here, and I met with the chamber, and I started working with the chamber and covering more people. It was less landscapes from our road trips and more people of Palisade, and that just became something that people recognized about me. Like, oh, you're the person that took that awesome photo of me at Peach Festival. So I just started getting jobs, covering events. And so now lately it's more people photos, and which is I love, but it's harder because landscapes don't complain, and some people do, but I think most of my clients have been happy. And
landscapes don't blank either.
No blanks, no, I don't like this angle.
Right, let me see it and let's do it again.
But so far I don't think I've had any unhappy clients, at least not they've told me. But I love seeing my photos of people's profile pictures, and it makes me happy. Like, I like when I can make someone feel beautiful. It's, it's not always an easy thing to do. And I hate pictures of myself, so I get it, Please, people who I'm taking your photo, I really get it. Like, I know, but I see beauty. Like, I will stare at a photo of someone for hours and hours and hours, and they just get more beautiful to me. I see things that maybe they don't see, other people don't see, but I'm staring at them, in this like frozen moment of time, and their beauty just like comes out of me at the screen, and I love it. So.
What's your favorite kind of event or thing to photograph?
I love festivals because people are uninhibited. When you're doing like a headshot or even like band photo, they want to portray a certain image but at festivals, people are just having fun. And that's what I like to, my favorite photo is capturing someone's like happiness and, like I said before, joy. I think that's the most rewarding thing for me, is just to capture that moment that someone else sees in a picture and they're like in that moment. I'm digging the people photography right now.
Awesome. I've seen it everywhere. I mean, you're in all the magazines and like on every website. And when I was kind of looking around to see if there was any other articles or anything written about you, it's impossible to find anything because it's like photo credit, dancing my head photography, photo credit.
Right.
Like, that's all that comes up for like pages.
Yeah, I mean, they did an interview for Shout Out Colorado. It was pretty in depth. I was very detailed, which I'm not always good at. And my story is like not super interesting. I'm just a delightful little person floating around, There's random facts about me, like, I don't know if I want to go into them. Like, sports is in my family, so my father and his brothers used to be part owners of the Chicago White Sox. Oh. My mom's cousin is the Dallas Cowboys announcer, Brad Sham. My cousin Corey Provis was a baseball announcer for the Minnesota Twins. So there's lots of sports and all these like fun facts, and like when I used to go to baseball games as a kid, I'd be like Mr. T, and I don't know. So I have all these weird random stories that probably make me pretty interesting, but no one really gets to know them because they're like, I don't know.
Well, what did Mr. T say to you?
Oh gosh, I think he just told us how lovely we were. He was really nice. Here's a funny story. My dad was a golfer in his younger days. But we used to go to Florida because he loved golf. And we went to this really beautiful country club called Kral Country Club. And O.J. Simpson was there. This was before, the whole O.J. was the guy. But me and my friend were there, and we met O.J. Simpson. And he came up, and my friend was swearing. She was kind of rough around the edges, girl in our teens, And O.J. Simpson told us that young, beautiful girls don't swear. And, at the time we were like, oh, O.J. Simpson just said that. But now, in retrospect, we're like, O.J. Simpson said that.
And if you keep swearing, the harder are you?
So that, I have random fun facts. So.
Oh, man, I just got so sidetracked.
I know, I did too.
But no, it's like fun. Okay, so we talked about how your favorite kind of thing to photograph is at festivals. So... do you feel anything when you line up a picture that you're just like, this is perfect, or,
Oh, yeah. It's like everything inside you just, is, giddy like a kid, and, I can't wait to, get back to the computer and, share it with everyone. I know, when I won't have to edit, touch a picture, it's boom, done. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a great feeling, because I don't like editing. I'd rather just get the photo and move on, Editing is not the best part of the process.
Does it end up being more, do you spend more time editing than you actually spent photographing originally?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to get better at editing and just get fancier with it, so that the fancier and the more I know how to do with editing, the more time I'm spending. Mm-hmm. There's something to be said for that, being able to, really accentuate a photo. But there's also something to be said for just, getting it and not having to touch it.
Yeah, because how do you know when you're done? It's just like any
Oh,
art.
it's like a painting,
Piece of art, right?
Yeah, you never...
It's over.
Sometimes I just have to give it to the client, and if it's done, but it might not be done if they come back, and I'm never finished until the client is 100% happy. Mm. But now, it's funny when I'm bored, I go back to old photos, before maybe even dancing in my head photography was a thing, and I started re-editing those. I could have made that better. Mm-hmm. And also I had a bad camera at the time, so don't want you to have to bleep me.
No better. So far, nobody has actually dropped any swearing on me.
Sorry, I could have been the first one.
Jeff almost did, but then he censored himself.
Just like I did?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess somehow this is turning into a clean podcast.
It's well, you have a very wholesome voice. You do. I listen to your podcast. I'm like, you sound so just calm and peaceful. I can't see anyone dropping swear words left and right.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about what you're working on right now? Or what you have coming up that you're excited about?
I'm working on a lot of things right now. I'm just everywhere. So yesterday I took band photos, delivering my focus till they're happy. I have a chamber photo event. Actually, when's this airing?
If I can get it done for next Tuesday, I'm going to do next Tuesday.
Well, so it'll be after. Mm-hmm. So the community hospital grand opening is this weekend, and I'll be taking photos for the Palisade Chamber of Commerce. I have a friend's wedding up and coming at Maison Le Barbie this month. So there's a lot of little different things, some private photo sessions, and I'm just everywhere this month.
I'm sure it gets a lot busier when you get into festival season
and just
season.
better weather outside. People want to get photos. That's mellow.
I know. I love gray cats, especially. What's your favorite camera to use?
My favorite camera is my Sony 6500. I have tons of cameras. Believe me, my office is full of different cameras, but this one, it's always been reliable. I don't know if it's my lucky camera strap that I have on here.
I love that strap.
Yeah, it's just my go-to. I like it.
Yeah, it's compact.
It's compact, yeah. I have a giant camera. I'm a tiny person. I have a giant camera, and I feel like I'm walking hunched over. It's not good for my posture.
Right.
Yeah, I love my Sony A6500 as I almost drop it.
What's your dream camera to own? If you own it, or
Oh
if you,
gosh,
like, you
I
would own it
don't
someday?
know. I try not to even look at things because then I get big eyes, and
I know.
I don't need a new camera right now. This one is very good to me, and yeah, I don't have a dream camera. I probably would if I looked.
That's very responsible.
But yes, I know myself. I mean, I see something. I love clothes too. I'm always like, something weird that I do as a photographer is like I try to have themed clothes for all my photo shoots. So like yesterday when I photographed the band, I wore a shirt with a guitar on it, and like I have pants that have coffee on it for the Palisade Chambers community over coffee, and like we went to a wine festival and I have wine.
I saw your wine.
I have
Those
themed
are
clothes.
amazing.
It's weird. So if I see the clothes, I want. It's the same thing about the camera. If I see it, I'm gonna want it. And so I know myself well enough.
I'm impressed. That's really good discipline.
And that's how we ended up with a purple car. I've had my other car for 20 years, and this one with like all the high-tech stuff, and like, you know, my phone connects to the car now, so like I'll be driving around Palisade and I'm getting texts like, I just saw you in your purple car, and I'm like, stop talking to me, car, you know. Car's talking to me now, and it might sound like an old lady, but it's just weird.
You post a lot of your stuff online, you know, and I know you watermark and everything. And
I'm getting better about the watermarking.
Yeah.
People
And, like,
used to yell at me about watermarking.
yeah, well, like I've asked you, oh, can I use one of your pictures with credit and everything? But I'm sure that people use them, people share them probably. How do you feel about that? Or how do you deal with that? Just uncredited sharing?
Oh, it's hard. I pick and choose my battles when it comes to that. I feel like some people should know better, you know. And it's weird because my feelings are not consistent. Like it's very situational. But in general, I don't like people stealing my photos. But with the way things are, you know, these days on social media, and people can just right click and save it, you know.
And you have no idea.
Yeah, you don't. And for some reason, I feel like the Facebook algorithms are good to me. Like, I'll be scrolling and I'm like, oh, there's my picture. You know, I'm like, huh, interesting. So I've been able to catch a lot of it. Just, I don't know why, if the algorithm gods are being kind to me or what, but it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely hard when I see my photos and somewhere where I wasn't expecting them to be.
Right.
I think a lot of people in this day and age who are in my circle, because I'm friends with a lot of photographers, they know the unspoken rule. Like, if you're using someone else's image, you ask, you give them photo credit, but just for the record, photo credit doesn't pay the bills.
Totally. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's very situational. And with this Sing Up the Sun festival, well, those are all you guys are all my friends, you know? Like, I'm not going to get mad at my friend for saying, like, you took this beautiful photo of me, can I use it?
Yeah.
I'm like, of course you can, you know?
So if you do see something, do you try to
I usually say something.
just reach out? Yeah. You're like, oh, hey, can I have credit? Or
Yeah, I
whatever?
usually say something. I try to be very polite, you know? And usually the response is polite as well. It's usually just an oversight or something,
But this is a ton of labor and a ton of work, and I think that people don't necessarily see that. They see part of what you're doing, which is being there and taking a picture, but it's your time, you know, and then it's your time later editing and your skills, which are hard to quantify even.
Right.
And there's just like so much more that goes into it.
Yeah. When I'm in editing mode, I mean, I come here, but I have a giant screen in there. So, like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm putting them through different editing programs. I'm looking at them, like, I look at them, I walk away, you know, like, I can't just sit and stare. Like, I need some perspective. And it's like a whole, like, emotional process that I go through with the photos after I take them that luckily only my husband has to see. But yeah, I mean, I will shut down for like a few days if it's a big event and there are thousands of photos. And not to toot my own horn, but I usually like a lot of those thousands of photos. So then I have to like be more discerning. I think that's probably my biggest flaw, is being more discerning because I usually fall in love with a lot of the photos that I take, and then it's like, even though this, like, the band member might be like just slightly different here, I'm like, but they're both good pictures, you know.
It's so hard to choose.
So yeah, but the editing process is something that is definitely, I think, underappreciated.
Absolutely. In terms of owning your own business, especially a creative business, what do you find most rewarding about that, and then what's the most challenging thing about it?
Well, the photography business, since there's no scheduled hours, and like I used to be very routine, you know, when I had an office job, wake up at the same time, shower at the same, everything was, and now I don't have a routine, which is very hard, and it's hard on him too. So that's the hard part, is just I don't have a very steady routine. You never know when you're needed. And I try to be available at all hours, except the morning. You have to pay me extra to like be up in the morning and ready. So yeah, photo gigs in the morning cost extra. The most rewarding though is like I can do what I want. Not that I say no to anybody, but I can choose what I want to do. And being an office manager at a high demanding job, I couldn't say no. I did everything. You know, I was the IT girl. I was, you know, answering phones, ordering things for the office, preparing nice looking presentations, and taking care of clients. It was just everything. You know, I had to do everything, and it wasn't always my choice. But I think it's very much my choice, which I love about having my own business.
What's your favorite thing about the Palisade community?
Ooh, it's funny because after living in big cities, like for most of my adult life, you know, we had our certain friends and small, but you move to Palisade and you feel like you're friends with everybody. And I love it. And like growing up, you know, I had like 4 or 5 guy friends, and those were my boys. And I kind of stayed throughout my whole life. Most of my friends have been guys until I moved to Palisade. I have a lot more female friends here. I feel like better about that. I used to get like panic attacks when I had to be in a room with a lot of women, but now I don't feel that at all. I like it. I felt very welcomed here. I mean, it's hard sometimes if you want to just like roll out to the grocery store, and now with my purple car, there's like no going to the grocery store and like not seeing anybody.
You can't go anymore.
I mean, Matt's like, you're not going to know anyone here, and we walk in, and I was like, hi, I already know someone here, you know, like.
Yeah, right. You'll have to go over to somewhere, like some grocery store on the other side of town.
Right.
You'll still probably see.
But even there, yep, yeah. I mean, with the purple hair and now the purple car, it's really hard to be incognito. But I love it. I really like it. It's a very warm community. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm, you know, city girl, so I have great stories now. Our neighbors used to have pigs that got loose. Matt and I have chased loose pigs, like 3 times, I think. And I just like these stories that I get to say, these words coming out of my mouth. Like there were pigs rolling around on our pool cover once. Oh, no. Like, and they were over 200 pounds. And they're like during the season, the pool cover collects rainwater and stuff. And the pigs got out, and I'm looking out this window, and there's just a pig rolling around. And I'm like, and Matt's like, I call Matt, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, right. Luckily the pool covers can hold up like a lot of weight. I mean, I've stood on it before. It's like a waterbed almost. But I was like, Matt, what do we do? The pig's on the pole. And there's like 2 others looking at it, you know. So Matt comes out, and I'm like, and you know, the photographer in me is like, I have to record this. Like, so Matt goes out, and he's like herding them away from the pool, and I have it on video. Sorry, this is a podcast and you can't see it, but it's amazing. A really funny video.
I can visualize. I mean, when you're chasing, when you're trying to like grab the pig.
Well, they were so big. So one time they got little babies that they thought this was like the 3rd time we had to chase the pigs. They thought they had like secured but they were so tiny that the little pigs got out, and those were the only pigs you could actually pick up and carry. Of course, I have pictures of that too. But the other ones, the ones that were on our pool cup, there was no picking those guys up. They ended up being over 250 pounds. So what we had to do was like everybody had to grab something, like a stick, a rake, you know, our pool skimmer, whatever it was, and like you have to like, you need at least 4 people to like corner them off and like kind of run them back to the pen. And luckily one time when they got out, some guy was just driving down the highway, and he pulled over, and his dog was a herder. And because the neighbors weren't home, so it was just like me and Matt, and we're like trying to get these giant pigs, and and this guy comes out, and like finally neighbors get home or their friends come over, and so the herder dog like saved the day. I mean, so wrangling pigs. I mean, that's another thing I love about Palisade. I get to tell stories like that, like, Mom, I wrangled pigs today,
I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have ever happened in Chicago.
Not really, and not Denver either. Yeah, it's
No.
not something I ever imagined myself saying, but love that I have these stories. And even just simpler things, like I never thought we'd have a peach orchard. We have 130 trees, about maybe a few less because we've lost them over the years, but Dennis Clark takes care of our peach orchard, and we couldn't be more thankful. The first year we were here was like a great season, and we didn't really know. We were still getting to know the situation the previous owners had with Dennis. And like we woke up to like giant boxes of peaches. It was a very good season. Every day, like for 3 days, we'd just get boxes of peaches. And Dennis sells them at Clark Family Orchards, and we just run the irrigation, and they take care of the rest. And we're very thankful. So even things like that, just the things that I get to say about my Palisade life, which has been my hashtag since I got here. I love the things and they bring smiles to my face and to other people's faces when I tell them. So it's just like a good life here. My Palisade life is really enjoyable.
So when do you get a day off? How do you enjoy it?
When I get a day off, I mean, everybody thinks I'm like this super social person, and I am. But lately especially, like I just like retreating, just being by myself. It's funny, like he works from home, and I like enjoy listening to him on his phone calls, and I like it. Like he says things that like warm my heart. I'm like, that's my husband, like.
Paul's gonna be so jealous because I always say like, you're so loud.
Well, I will say he used to like sit out here and work, and I'd be like, dude, you're in the middle of our house. Like you gotta take it in your office. You got one, so. But there are times where like I'll be editing photos right here, and he'll be working next to me, and it's kind of nice. I mean, a lot, like I said, a lot more lately. When I'm not working, I just like want to kind of have some downtime and just peaceful, like quiet. I mean, you can see I can just sit outside or take pictures around my property. I mean, I really never stop taking pictures, so, even if I'm home, I'm like, ooh, that tree looks pretty. Ooh, there's a pretty, so it's just me time when I'm not working. I actually don't have the best memory, so photos actually really help. Like last night, we were like reminiscing about all the houses we looked at when we were moving. I don't remember, and this was only 8 years ago, but I don't remember any of the houses except this one. He's like, don't you remember it had the weird, and I'm like, no, I don't even remember being there. Like, so photos help me remember certain things. And also, like, it's funny because I feel like I see the world in like super vivid colors. And then that's why like when I edit some photos, I get carried away. Because like when I see things, everything seems like much more vivid, And I know cameras don't always capture the true essence of colors, but I love making things like really bright and vivid and colorful. I do that even when I'm alone. Like I said, I work on old photos sometimes, and just because I think like I didn't really capture what I really saw, and so yeah, I have fun by myself. I'm really good at being alone. I really don't mind it at all. And he's a hoot. He's always good for a laugh and entertaining.
Good to like your husband. Is there anything else you want to share? Anything else that I didn't talk about that you're like, oh, I wish we talked about that?
Well, I'm really glad you didn't ask me about my nickname and where it came from, because that's a story best told at other times.
Part of the problem is that I already read the story.
Yeah. So if you don't know the story, too bad. Just come and find me and I'll tell it to you. I guess I want people to know that I love taking photographs of anything and everything, and I'd love to help out. And if you're struggling to see beauty in yourself, I'd love to help you find it. I think that's been what's motivated me a lot lately, is helping people see like what I see, and beauty is in everyone and everywhere. So just know I photograph anything and everything. I used to say, like, I only do this, but there's nothing I won't do. So I really hope people in Palisade and beyond, who's ever listening to this, will consider to hire me. Love to work with you. Is that like a good shameless promotion?
Yeah, that's an excellent shameless promotion.
I work with, many budgets and all kinds of things. So yeah, reach out to me.
How would people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
You can't. No, just kidding. You can email me. My email is Lisa G. Kral, Kral, @gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at Lisa Moose Levy Kral or Dancing in My Head Photography. I have a website, but that I don't like, so I don't want to steer you there, but it's another way to find me, and it's dancinginmyhead.com. And I have someone who wants to help me with my website, and I know she will. Hannah, I know you're listening maybe, and I will ask you to help me eventually. I'm on Instagram, Dancing in My Head Photography, so I'm easy to find. I'm also that girl with the purple hair, so.
And the purple hair. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
This was super fun.
Yeah, thanks. So it was nice for you to get to know me, and if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to talk and spend quality time. And maybe I won't take your picture. We could just talk.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you.
Something that Lisa says is, you can't spell Palisade without Lisa. Just look, it's right there, right in the middle. And you'll never unsee it now. If you're enjoying this podcast, let me know by leaving a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts, or a follow or rating on Spotify. If you're interested in being on the show, or if you have ideas for a future show, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at lisa@postcardsfrompalisade.com. The Postcards from Palisade podcast is available on all major podcast distribution platforms. Find us and subscribe now. That sounded way more catty than I intended. On all major podcast distribution platforms. Find us and subscribe now so you never miss an episode. Latest episodes and links to more information are also posted on the website, postcardsfrompalisade.com. Thanks for listening. With love, from Palisade.